Hello, good day. My name is Mark Gabriel B. Cuenta, and I'm going to present the experiment one for the Communications 2 laboratory, which is the PAM modulation and demodulation. So let's move on to the PAM modulation. So the pulse amplitude modulation, or PAM, works by converting an analog signal into a series of pulses, where each pulse height matches the analog signal's value at a specific moment in time. So to do this, the analog signal is first sampled at regular intervals, and these sampled values are then used to vary the amplitude of equally spaced pulse. So these pulses are typically carried on higher frequency carrier signal, resulting in an amplitude modulated pulse train. So the PAM is relatively simple to design and analyze. So it is widely used in application in different digital communication systems. And however, PAM has a major limitation. It is highly sensitive to noise and distortion, especially over long distance or on low quality channels, where signal errors can significantly degrade the recovered information. Moving on to the concepts, where we can see two graphs or two block diagrams. So the first one on the left side, this block diagram shows a pulse amplitude modulation signal on how it is generated. So the first one is the modulating signal or the input, wherein this is your original analog signal, usually a sine wave carrying information. Next, going to the low pass filter, which removes the unwanted high frequency noise and limits bandwidth before sampling. Next is the pulse generator, wherein it produces a train of square pulses or the sampling signal. So these pulses determine when the signal is sampled, then goes to the multiplier or the sampler. It combines the analog signal and pulse train. So this effectively samples the signal at regular intervals. Moving on to the modulator, wherein it adjusts the amplitude of the each pulse based on the sampled signal value. The output becomes the PAM signal. Moving on to the right side, wherein there are three different signal forms. The top one is the message signal, wherein it is a smooth sine wave or the original analog signal. So this information is you want to transmit. Then the middle one, the carrier signal, a high frequency pulse train, acts as the sampling signal. And lastly, the bottom one, the modulated signal or the PAM output, wherein it is a sequence of pulse where height follows the shape of the sine wave. So each pulse represents a sample of the original signal. So the observation for this is that when the sine wave is high, the pulse amplitude is high. When sine wave is low, then the pulse amplitude is low. So the waveform looks like a staircase or pulsed version of the sine wave. Moving on to the procedure for the figure 1.1.2, wherein we can see the pulse amplitude modulator circuit. So in this figure, it shows the schematic diagram of the pulse amplitude modulator circuit. So I used the LT-SPICE application to create the given circuit in the laboratory format or report. So the Wayne bridge oscillator function as the sine wave generator, which is then fed onto the sine or the square wave generator. The square wave generator then produces the sampling signal in which an NPN transistor has the square wave applied to the base and the sine wave is connected to the collector. While recording the video, so I made some minor mistake that led to the circuit not operating well. So this first was that I connected some parts of the circuit to the wrong spots or to the wrong side of the circuit. I inputted the out2 with the wrong command. Then overall, I made up for the mistake, which resulted to a better output. Moving on to the output or the simulated data. The figure shows below the signal or the simulated output for the circuit in the figure 1 or the palm modulation. The modulated signal is displayed in the red or the VN002. The sampling signal is then used as a green or the green one in the middle, which is VN009. And lastly, the palm signal is in the blue or the V out 2. So this is the proof of performance of the said activity, wherein a time-lapse version of this uh, video presentation. So that's all for the palm modulation. Moving on to the next topic, the palm demodulation. So the pulse amplitude demodulation is the process of extracting the original analog information from the received modulated pulse signal. So the several methods can be used to achieve this, depending on the system's complexity and noise condition. One of the common approach is the envelope detection, so which uses a low-pass filter to trace the outer boundary or envelope of the pump signal, effectively recovering the original waveform. Another technique is match filtering, where the incoming signal is prepared or compared against a non-reference pulse shape to maximize the signal-to-noise ratio and improve detection accuracy. Sample expression is also employed, which involves sampling the signal at the Seibel rate and comparing each sample to the predefined threshold values to reconstruct the transmitted levels. Additionally, decision feedbacks enhance performance by combining current sampling with feedback from previously detected symbols, reducing errors caused by the channel's distortion. Together, these methods ensure that the analog message signal is accurately recovered from the palm waveform for further processing or output. Moving on to the palm modulator, the modulator. So the modulator of a pulse or so the modulation of a pulse amplitude modulated or the palm demodulator signal follows a straightforward yet effective two-stage process to recover the original analog information. First, the received palm signal, composed of narrow pulse whose amplitude represent sampled values of the original message, enters a holding circuit, wherein this circuit typically made of a capacitor and resistor and captures and maintains the voltage level of each pulse between the sampling instants. As a result, the discrete pulses are transformed into a step waveform that approximates the smooth shape of the original analog signal, while filling the gaps between each samples. Excuse me. Next is then it is led to the held signal phases through a low pass filter or the LPF. So it acts as a smoothing agent, removing the sharp, high frequency edge and switching noise left over from the sampling and holding stage. So by allowing only the lower frequency components, those that belong to the original message, to pass through, the filter gently reshapes the s- stepped waveform into a continuous smooth curve. So the final output is the demodulated signal, which is closely resembled to the original analog message signal that was first fed into the palm modulator. So together, the holding circuit and low-pass filter ensures uh, accurate signal recovery, making palm demodulation both practical and reliable for communication systems. Moving on to the procedure for the uh, pulse amplitude demodulator circuit. So in the first half of the experimental circuit, we use the circuit of the palm modulated signal or circuit from the previous experiment. So moving on to the demodulated circuit, I use an online palm demodulation circuit, which works by recovering the original analog signal from the palm output using a MOSFET switch. The buffer stages and a sample and hold circuit or filter going through a going through the circuit, the first and most transistor acts as a controlled switch driven by a 7 volts pulse signal that turns on a 5 microseconds, allowing the brief sample of the palm waveform to pass through. These samples are now then fed to the OP07 buffer amplifier, in which it isolates the MOSFET from the next stage and ensures that the sampled pulse remain clean and stable. So, after the buffering process, the signal enters the RC low pass filter, which contains the C15 and R20, removes high frequency switching components, and smoothens waveform into a closer approximation of the original modulated signal. Finally, going to the second OP07 amplifier, together with the C16 and R21, which forms the holding stage, in which it maintains the voltage level between the sampling periods to reconstruct a continuous analog output, which completes the process of the demodulated signal from the original palm circuit. So the result or the simulated data is it is shown that the signal evolves through the modulation and demodulation process. So the top waveform shows the original modulating circuit or data, a sinusoidal waveform in which it presents the information that is transmitted. The second waveform shows the square wave, which shows the sampling signal that controls the palm circuit that takes sample in modulated signal. The third one shows the result of the palm signal, where each pulse corresponds to the amplitude of the sine wave, where the square wave goes high. The fourth one, the waveform, shows the sample hold output after the demodulating circuit, in which it holds the amplitude of each pulse, producing a stepped approximation of the original signal. Lastly, the final waveform shows the recovering of the analog output after the filtering and smoothing, where the transition shows the remove and the signal reassembles the original sinusoidal modulating input, in which it shows the successful demodulation. So this is the proper performance on making the palm demodulation circuit. Conclusion. So the palm or the pulse amplitude modulation and its demodulation process are essential for methods for transforming analog signals into a pulsed format suitable for transmission and then restoring the original information. So during the modulation, a sine wave signal is sampled by a square wave, while an NPN transistor adjusts the amplitude of each pulse based on the instantaneous value of the input, generating the palm waveform. So on the other hand, in the demodulation, the process is reversed by using a MOSFET, which is driven by a timing pulse to sample the palm signal. So a sample and hold circuit composed of a resistor and a capacitor preserves each sample voltage between pulses, forming a staircase-like version of the original signal. This is then passed through a low-pass filter to eliminate high-frequency components and smooth the waveform, effectively reconstructing a sinusoidal output to close to the original input. Both modulation and demodulation were uh, successfully simulated and verified using the LT-SPI software, so demonstrating PAM's effectiveness in signal conversion and recovery. So that is all for the experiment one. Thank you for listening.